I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. This is going to be a shit video, but landed in Vegas. Was meant to do a video beforehand, but I was well too busy and I was well too stressed. As you can tell, I look like absolute shit. Like 3:30 normal time, but like 7:30 p.m. local now. So I had a load of things to say, but I'm fucking way too tired now. So for the boys, going to play the main event. What do you think of the view, boys? What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are here in Las Vegas. So here in Las Vegas for a month, I'm going to be playing the World Series main event for the first time, and I am super excited for it. So I said in the 1KNL stream and on the video on YouTube, if you've not already seen it, said a big thank you to everyone, because if it wasn't for you guys supporting me, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. So obviously your guys' support helped me become an ACR stormer, shout out ACR, and everything at Triton happened because of your support. So if it wasn't for you guys, I literally wouldn't be here now. So thank you to everyone watching. I'm going to be playing cash games as well and hopefully vlogging some of it. So hopefully there's going to be many videos to come from Vegas. I mean, what else can I say, man? Like, this is like my room. Like, this is the view I have. I wake up and I can see this every day. It's sick. So guys, thank you again. And yeah, enjoy the videos. What's happening, boys? Las fucking Vegas. I'm here. It's the 5th of July. Look, boys, it's been a long time since I've been here. It's been like 5 or 6 years. It was 11 years ago to the day that I first went to Vegas on the 4th of July, I think it was. But yeah, this is the first time, 11 years later, I'm playing the main event for the first time, which is just fucking insane. So big shout out to everybody. Shut up, mate. Big shout out to everybody that's got me here, because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here playing the fucking main. And yeah, hopefully we'll just drill it. So let's go, boys. Alright, boys, decided gonna play Day 1D tomorrow. I think you start with like 300 or 400 big blinds. It's insane. And I'm buzzing to be back in Vegas. It's been so many years, thanks to COVID and just nonsense regulations. So yeah, it feels good to be back, guys. So hopefully we'll get a run in something. Let's find out. So as you guys will likely know, the World Series main event structure is insane. So blind levels are 2 hours long. You start with 60,000 chips at 100, 200 blinds. So you get to start with 300 big blinds. So I actually skipped the first level and decided to reg in level 2. I tend to lose focus when I have really long days if I play for like 12 hours, and considering how jet lagged I was and tired, I just thought it'd be better to skip the first level. So I get to the table, and notable names on my table were Victor Blom, aka Isildur1. So for any of you kids out there that don't know, this guy was an online fucking legend back in the day, literally changed the game. So on each break after every level, I posted a little video on Instagram with updates and any interesting hands and such. So here are the hands from level 2. Alright, I have less chips than I started with, which I'm told is apparently not the way to do it. So a few interesting hands. We've got Isildur 2 seats to our right, and other than that, mainly just a bunch of fish. First hand, basically 3 hands in, I get dealt ace queen suited. Raise and we go 4-way. Small blind leads out on ace. I'll write it on something. Makes it 1500. We raise to 3500. The other 2 people behind fold. He calls. Turn comes whatever I've written down. We bet 6k, calls. River comes from 9. He leads for 6k. We call and chop with ace queens. Next one's a bit of a weird one. Isildur opens cut off. There's a whale in the big blind, which is pretty important. I flat queen jack off out the small, which I wouldn't normally do, but whale in the big. Board comes queen 8 deuce rainbow. Checks to Isildur. He c-bets. We call. Then comes a jack. We go heads up. Big blind gets out of the way. He pots it, or even slightly overbets. We check call, and the river comes to king of diamonds, and we check. He overbets, and I just have to fold. I guess I can have some sets, the occasional 10-9 suited, but yeah, it's just a bit of an annoying one. So there are 5 levels of play in total in each of the main event day 1s. After a relatively slow start, the next couple of levels were somewhat uneventful. Only 1 real hand of interest, and once again, it was against the toughest player at the table, Isildur. So last hand, I open under the gun with ace-8 suited. We go 3-way, fish goes on the button, Isildur calls out the small blind, which is pretty cool. Queen 8-3 rainbow. Go for a bet, which I actually really like thinking about it. At first I thought maybe I should just check, but with the guy fishing the bottom, I think there's still value to be had. Get check raised by Isildur again, obviously.
And I think we just have to call. The only thing I don't know is if his bluffs have enough equity where our hand just doesn't play well. But in position, when we've got backdoor flush, I think it's fine. He has like 4 combos of value, 5 if you include Queen 8 suited, and I don't think he feels that out the small one. Then turn comes 9 of hearts, and like all the plus get there, and he can even get 10 9s, and it's like, okay, fine. So yeah, so basically won all the small pots, lost the big one.
And after the final break, we came into the last level of the day with 48.7k from a 60k starting stack. Came back to blinds being 300, 600, so there's still a lot of play, especially considering obviously the blinds are 2 hours long. But after having no real value spots all day, I mean, the best hand I hit was 2 pair, and I ended up having to fold that. I was just desperate to hit a flop. So the only hand of interest really for like the last God knows how long, I got down to about 48k or something. I opened +1 with 7s, button flats, some young Asian kid. Blinds fold, flop comes 8-7-5 rainbow. I check, I'm gonna check range. He bets, and I decide to flat. I think it's just to allow bluffs and stuff. I thought it was just a good idea to flat, because if I raise, he's just folding all of his air and it's going to look super strong. Turn comes a 10 of spades, bringing in a flush draw. I check, he bets pretty big. I decide to just call again. I think about it for quite a while and tank call, and then the river, I check. It comes a queen of clubs. I check, and he shoves for a slightly over pot. I snap, because I'm never folding, which the table was like, oh, you're not scared of a straight. I was like, Triton champion isn't scared of shit. And he shows ace-9 of diamonds for a bluff, and a very good bluff in my opinion as well. So yeah, easy double up and 105k in the bag. Hello, I have bagged more chips than I started with. 105,600 from 60k. Look at this though. Something really cool about playing in this room. So we'll be back in 2 days, yeah, for day 2. So first main event, first bag. Pretty cool. Day 2 of the WSOP main event, boys. So the way it works is players from days 1A, 1B, and 1C play their own day 2, and the players from day 1D play their own day 2, and then all players combine on day 3. So this was really good for me. It meant that I got a day off after playing day 1D, and so I could catch up on sleep and get some rest and whatnot. Yo, a few interesting hands. The first hand, actually, the very first hand I was dealt, I stacked a guy. So I ended up getting up to like 130k. I open ace king from MP, big blind defense, and he just donk shoves like 17k on king queen 3, and we just hold against king 8 of diamonds, which is pretty nice. And it was all going my way. I got up to like 140k, 130k maybe. I lost a well tilting pot with 10s, so there's a limper and the guy makes it 3k. He's pretty passive, he's pretty like tight, he's definitely a wreck. He makes it 3k, we make it 9.5 out the small blind. Don't think I'd want to make it too big with this hand with pocket 10s. Flop comes jack 6-4, 2 spades. I decide to check, he checks back. The turn comes a king of clubs. I check, he checks back. I don't think there's much merit in like blocking, even though it's a card theoretically we want to range bet. I don't think he's going to bluff his 7s and stuff. And then the river comes a fucking 10 of diamonds, and I even knew it was a bad card. I lead for 12k, thinks about it for a bit, makes it 27, and I'm just like, I cannot see a bluff here from like a wreck that's going to play this way. Ace 10 of spades I think was the only combo left. If he has like ace 9 queens, I don't think plays like this. If it does bluff, it probably raises bigger. So I just think I'm dead to ace queen always, so I ended up tank folding. So I didn't post a full hand history of this hand at the time. I think I was on break and just wanted to get some food, but here's how it went down. So I think I start the hand with just over 100k. I think the effective stack is around 67k. I look down at 2 black 8s under the gun and open to 2500. The cutoff 3 bets to 8k, and we peel. And ding, ding, fucking ding, we flop top set on 8-6-5 rainbow. So I actually decided to lead for 6k here. I think it's a board where we definitely have more sets than 2 pairs than opponent, so I think that leading is pretty good. So we lead out for 6k and the cutoff calls. I still think he's calling any of his overcards with backdoor flush draws, probably all his ace kings and stuff as well, so I think leading for small is good here. Turn comes a 5 of spades, and I decide to check. The reason being, this takes out a lot of our value, so if we had 6-5 suited, there's now only 1 combo as opposed to 2, and there's 1 combo of 5s instead of 3 now, so this just cuts our value range. So I think theoretically we want to check.
And the cutoff checks behind. The river comes the ace of spades. And again, I think, like, theoretically, this is a card I want to do a lot of checking on. Villain seemed kind of reggy. I'd only been at this table for maybe 30 or 40 minutes, so I was unsure of, you know, players. He's basically an unknown, but he seems like he kind of know what he's doing, so I decided to check. He bets 12,000 and I raised to 37.5k. At this point, I actually thought he had more behind. I thought he started the hand with like 85k, something like that, but it was a bit less. So that's why I didn't go all in. I decided to make it 37.5 because I thought he had maybe like 70k behind. And Villain shoves all in for like 53.2k it was. And I was like, oh. So I'm just, honestly, I'm really unhappy with this spot. I don't think people are ever finding bluffs in this spot. And I also don't really think we beat value here as well. Maybe something like ace-5 suited, maybe pocket sixes, but it'd be kind of weird to see those hands, to be honest. Anyway, I do ask the dealer for a count and he tells me it's like 15k more. I've already got a chip dangling over the line because I know I'm probably going to call because I see how much he's got on top of it and I realize it's a lot less than I originally thought. I thought he had like 70k. So I let go of my chip. It goes over the line and I see the bad news. Villain has 2 red aces. So obviously an insane cooler and a really grim one in the World Series main event to get 2 outed like that. I did say in the video that I posted on Insta, if he has more, I actually lose less. For example, if he did have like, let's say 70k behind instead of like 53k, I'm just always folding to that shove. It's the most aces thing I've ever seen. The problem is I don't really want to fold given it's an unknown and I've just been moved to the table. On the off chance he has something like ace-8 that's trying to shove for thin value, or ace-king randomly, or definitely pocket sixes. I don't think anyone is going to bluff there in that spot, but when you don't know, just an absolutely insane price, 15k into God knows how much. But I do think that if he had a lot more, I would have taken my time and maybe folded. But the good news is that we were still in the tournament. We have around 35k after this hand, which is about 30 big blinds. So yeah, bit of a cooler, bit of a grim one, but I mean, what can you do? GG, I'm out of the main event. Last level of day 2, obviously. Meaning I got to play for 12 hours for no fucking reason. It was a good experience though, to be fair. The structure's insane. Like, it's literally hard to lose. If you get a soft table, it's literally hard to lose unless the deck fists you in the fucking anus, which it did to me today. So no value spots either. I had kings once and had to make a disgraceful fold against the whale on an ace-high board, getting an insane prize, but I just figured he's got like too many ace-hacks. But yeah, really good tournament. Was actually fun to play for the most part, with the exception of like I've not been sleeping well and the fucking days are long. But yeah, GG's. I'll see you next year. So unfortunately, I busted my first ever main event at the end of day 2 with no cash. So clearly Easty is a better player given he cashed in his very first main event. But it is the start of the trip and there's still a load of WSOP events left. There's loads of other tournaments as well, such as the Venetian Deep Stack series and the Aria Poker Classic series. So yeah, I was feeling pretty hopeful. I did flick into quite a few MTTs, including the 2500 WSOP event. Bag. Found a bag in the 2500 after somebody decided he wanted to bubble himself and made the worst call I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Back tomorrow, so in the money. I locked up 4,000. I think we're playing for about 682k up top. So hopefully we can spin it up.
All right, boys. First WSOP cash. Look how tired I look, man. Like 12-hour days are killing me, and I've got to restart at 10 a.m. So I got really lucky, about 100 off the money. 2 out of the fuck out of this poor guy. Got 10s in against kings, 10 river. I was like, oh my god, couldn't actually believe it.
100k and 8.
Which is pretty good. So, and then the bubble burst from some guy making the worst call I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Button open shoves because it's bubble. This guy's got about 100k at 8k big blind and just calls it off when there's like loads of shorties, when there's 312 left and 311 get paid. He's got ace-6 offsuit. Like, how can you hate money so much? But yeah, restart tomorrow at 10.
Alright boys, last day in Vegas. Spent the entire day gambling. Not really gambled too much this week, apart from a little bit of blackjack here and there. So I spent the day playing 3-card poker, slots, blackjack. Actually ended up in profit, which is nice. As far as tournaments go, we were in for a total of $19,000 and cashed for $4,300. So about a 14.5K loss. In terms of cash games though, you're just gonna have to wait and watch the vlogs, aren't you? So, but as far as the series is concerned, that's a wrap for 2023. See you next year, boys.